Persian Gulf is where diplomacy and deterrence share the same narrow hallway. One hand holds a draft term sheet, the other hand holds the keys to global shipping lanes and energy prices. When Iran and the U.S. move, every ally and adversary starts gaming out the next 48 hours. We've seen this in the news. And this week's indirect talks in Geneva produced what Iran called an understanding on guiding principles for a possible deal. I don't know if that's the official title, but constructive progress nonetheless. And it's not a finish line, but an open question is whether Iran's trading real constraints for sanctions relief or simply buying time while keeping its leverage to do whatever it is they're doing. At the same time, Iran also did live fire drills and temporarily closed parts of the Strait of Hormuz, a reminder that Tehran can turn a negotiation into a navigation crisis on command. That choke point is a pressure valve for the world, and Iran likes having it under its control. Then comes the other track, Khamenei threatening U.S. warships and dressing it up as defiance. This is the regime's pattern. Ask for terms in one room, threaten escalation in another, and that's why military pressure is important when talks get moving. Israel is pushing hard on the missile fire, arguing a nuclear understanding that ignores delivery systems leaves the threat intact. So tonight we look at what U.S. pressure is already producing, what Iran is still saying, and how Israel's strike push shapes the end game. And here with us, giving his expert analysis, is a member of NCRI and Iran's parliament in exile, Ali Safavi. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. We're watching Iran. It was in the news with the protests. Trump said there's a line, don't cross it. Seems they've crossed it. Warships are in the area, threats going back and forth. Talks of a deal. What is going on tonight with Iran?
Well, good afternoon and great to be with you. Well, naturally, I, like you, heard what Khamenei said. And of course, his remarks are nothing but the rebel settling of a decaying and vulnerable regime at its weakest point in its 47-year history, facing an increasingly enraged population despite the slaughter of thousands of people in January, with a multitude of crises facing the regime for which it has no solutions, and of course under pressure to either completely surrender or of course face the ominous consequences of defiance. And so he always, as he has done in the past 30-some years that he's been the supreme leader, engaging in a hollow projection of power.
Yeah.
But the underlying fact is that this regime is on its last legs, and of course the uprising, despite its ebbs and flows, tend to erupt again, and of course next time will be much fiercer and much larger in scope.
Yeah, so I'm struggling with this a little bit. I think a lot of the viewers are at home because we remember a strike on Iran's nuclear sites a few months ago. They're supposedly destroyed. Now, there was the protest issue, which it looked like there was some significant pressure pushing back on the regime. The regime, some reports, killed 30,000 Iranians protesting the Islamic regime, which, again, was that red line. And now we're here having nuclear talks again. I guess what I'm confused about, what I'm trying to figure out is if we destroyed Iran's ability to produce a nuclear weapon, why are we talking to them about nuclear stuff? Like, shouldn't it not be a conversation anymore?
Well, I think that's a very valid point. Although, as you can imagine, this regime being as cunning as it is, who knows where else they are also have some secret sites and are engaged in uranium enrichment and working on warheads that could deliver that bomb whenever they get to a point of building one. And so I guess the presumption is that there needs to be negotiations. But to be honest with you, we have seen this movie before. And recall that this is not the first time that the regime has come to the negotiating table, but we know they never negotiate in good faith. They are masters of denial, deception, and duplicity. And it seems to me that they are trying to buy some time because in 2003, after the NCRI revealed the nuclear weapons program of Iran in 2002, They engaged in protracted negotiations with the EU3, the Troika. Then they engaged in negotiations with P5+1 for over 2 years, and they got the so-called JCPOA, but all the while they continued to cheat, enhance their enrichment to the point of 60%. And of course now, I think it's the same scenario being repeated all over again. This is why, because I believe, as Mrs. Rajavi, the NCRI president-elect, has said, that the international community must toughen the sanctions, hold the Iranian regime leaders before an international tribunal, provide internet to the Iranian people, and of course, condemn the atrocities that they have committed. This is the correct path forward, that the international community, the U.S. for that matter, must recognize the right of the Iranian people to topple this regime, because this regime will never abandon its nuclear weapons program, because it is its lifeline. Remember, they have spent $2 trillion on this program. They're not going to give it up, no matter what kind of an incentive you give them.
Yeah, Ali, it's an excellent point you just made, and you talk about the justifications for the U.S. taking out this regime. On this show, we've had other people come on and talk about the multifaceted issue that we have here with Iran, because there's ties to Venezuela, with putting Hezbollah through Venezuela and then importing people from Hezbollah into the United States, along with drugs, along with weapons. And that's why we went and arrested Maduro, in addition to the fact that he has been a fugitive for a long time. But then you see all the tentacles of Iran going through so much instability in the region, behind the attacks on Israel on October 7th. And then, of course, yes, we might have destroyed their ability to produce a nuclear weapon now, but they're still seeking to produce one. So all really good reasons for the United States to project its dominance, not just in our hemisphere, but in the region, because I think everybody is kind of sick of Iran, including our allies in the Middle East as well. Ali, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insights, and we look forward to having you again real soon.
Sure. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a nice afternoon.
You too, my friend. Coming up, we remember the consequential and controversial civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, right after this.